Could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Skill Game. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. Week 1 has been kicked off in epic style with the Cowboys and Eagles game last night. A little bit of a delay, but it was well worth the wait. And the NFL knew what they were doing when they scheduled these games the way that they did. 3 of the 4 primetime games this weekend are matchups featuring teams in the same division. So you know you're going to get very competitive contests, but not just any teams facing off, teams that play each other extremely close. We saw that last night with the Eagles and Cowboys, and you're going to see it again tonight with the Chiefs and the Chargers over in Brazil, as I like to say. Sao Paulo, second year in a row, the NFL has ventured into Brazil to play a game on a Friday night to kick off the season. So this is going to be a fun matchup. Chiefs have owned this matchup versus the Chargers. These two teams play each other extremely close. The margins are extremely thin, with usually 1 or 2 plays swinging the momentum of this game one way or the other. Whether you go back a few years to the Justin Herbert, pick 6 that he threw when the Chargers seemed to be in control of that ball game. You think about the crazy game like 3 years ago they had, which kind of decided the division on the road in LA. Travis Kelce goes bananas, catches the pass in overtime, wins the Chiefs the game. You think about last year, a couple of low scoring affairs. I think one was 17-10. Another one, I think, was like, 17, 16, 17, 19, 19, 17, something like that. Walk-off field goal. I do know the Chiefs won on a walk-off field goal as time expired. So neither one of their games last year made it to the 20s. Neither team made it to the 20s. So I don't really know what to expect. Will we get another one of those low-scoring affairs, or will we get points actually scored in this ball game? I'm really intrigued because I think this year the Kansas City Chiefs are actually much better than they have been the past 2 seasons on offense in particular. Now, they got to get healthy, and obviously Rashid Rice has to come back from suspension. But I look at this roster, and, they drafted some guys that I think can actually play over the last couple of years. I think they've helped their offensive line. I'm actually still curious to see how all the pieces of that offensive line, like Jalen Moore, for instance, who they signed in free agency, are going to fit into the equation. Josh Simmons is a guy that I'm highly intrigued by, the first-round pick out of the Ohio State University. So there's a lot of things that I think they've fortified on that offensive line and on the offense in general. So when I look at the Chiefs, I think they're a better team than people are giving them credit for in terms of the talent. I didn't think they were super talented on the offensive side of the football the last couple of years, and they just were able to get by off the strength of Mahomes being Mahomes, Kelce being Kelce, even though he's starting to slow down. And then the defense really carried the day, I feel like, last year, and you could even argue that was the case the year before as well. So this year, I think the offense may be able to carry its weight this year, be better, right? Give the Chiefs a little bit more offensive firepower, the kind that we used to see when Mahomes first, kind of took his ascension into NFL superstardom and became the Don Dada of NFL quarterbacks. I think you could see him get back to that. Last year was a really down year for him. So this is a really big game in terms of establishing that you're still the team to beat in the AFC West. I don't know the last time the Chiefs didn't win that division. It's really Patriot-esque. When Brady and Belichick, the B&B winning factory, was in New England, call it the evil empire, when they reigned terror over the AFC East for the better part of 2 decades. This is what it feels like in the AFC West if you're the Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, or the Los Angeles Chargers. You just can't get a break with this Chiefs team. I think they've won this division at least 9 years in a row, if not double digits in 10. If not 10, they're heading towards 10 this year. And so this is a big step in that direction if you're the Chiefs, establishing yourself against the team that is probably going to be your chief competitor in that division. Don't sleep on Denver. Obviously, the Broncos played this Chiefs team very well last season. Could have swept them. Obviously, the last game of the season didn't matter, but they could have beaten them and should have beaten them if they didn't have a field goal blocked at the end of their matchup the first time. So the Chargers are in the mix to try to steal this division away from the Chiefs. Looking forward to this matchup. They always play each other close. So what do I think this game's going to come down to? Ultimately, you start with the Chargers on their side of things. We know what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. He wants to establish the run. He wants to establish the run. We know what they want to do on offense. With Greg Roman as your offensive coordinator, you want to establish the run. You want to go play action fake. You want to be able to hit the tight ends. You want to be able to kind of work the middle of the football field. You want to see them utilize their receivers a little bit more. That's not a strength of Greg Roman's offense, but if they can run the football, everything else opens up. And obviously, they spent a first-round pick on Omarion Hampton. They expect him to be a guy that can help them in that department, along with Najee Harris, who is going to play tonight, was dealing with some injuries in training camp. I think he had an eye injury as well. But both of those guys combined should offer them that 1-2 punch that they really lacked a season ago. J.K. Dobbins started off the season extremely fast, as we remember last year. Then he got banged up. Then it became Gus Edwards and just a smorgasbord of guys that just didn't get it done for them, it felt like. So they're hoping that the upgrades at the running back position with Najee Harris, who I'm not the biggest fan of, and Omarion Hampton, who I do think has a chance to be a really good back in this league, are able to give them that 1-2 punch at a very important position in a Greg Roman run offense. Herbert is a guy that it seems to be much maligned, right? Like when he's really good, he's really good. But when he's not good, this team doesn't function. And obviously, he left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths the last time we saw Justin Herbert on a football field. That Texans game was not a great representation of what he's been in his career. But again, when you're on that stage and you put forth that performance, that's what people see, especially if they don't see Herbert play a ton. So I think tonight is another great opportunity for Herbert to reestablish himself as one of the preeminent quarterbacks in the league on a stage where everyone's going to be watching against a team that everyone expects to be there when it's all said and done. Can you go out? Can you make some big-time throws when they are required? Can that offensive line, and we've got questions, obviously Rashawn Slater's injury looms large. Now Joe Alt, who was going to be their right tackle, has to move over to left tackle. And now you've got to play musical chairs up front. Can they protect Justin Herbert? Because when he's protected, he's dangerous. When he's not, that's when problems ensue. That's why the run game is going to be important. Can they establish the run, which will keep the Chiefs on their heels, give Herbert the time he needs to survey the field, make plays, and that will be how they kind of feed off of one another. Because again, a Greg Roman offense starts with the run game. Everything starts from the run game. That is the genesis of a Greg Roman attack on offense. So I think it is imperative that they win the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they can do that. If Herbert has time, I know he'll do his job. The question is, can they establish the run to keep the pressure off of him so that he can do the things we know that he's capable of doing? Conversely, for the Chargers on the defensive side of the football, they've got some questions, in the secondary. We'll see what that looks like. Up front, can they get consistent pressure on the quarterback? This was a defense last year from a points per game given up perspective. They were the best. They didn't give up a ton of points. I just told you the two meetings against the Chiefs, they gave up less than 20 points in both of those contests. That was their MO last year. They weren't going to really score a boatload of points, but neither were you a lot of times when you played the Chargers last year. We'll see if they can replicate the type of success they had last year on defense in terms of keeping teams out of the end zone, keeping the score low, and giving themselves a chance to win. Now, the question for me is, with this Chiefs attack, and they're missing some pieces, right? Jalen Royals, the rookie wide receiver, not going to play in this game. No Rashid, right? So you're that group that I thought was so impressive, that I do think is going to be impressive this year, has some injuries, right? So now it's Hollywood Brown. Now it's the second-year receiver out of Texas, Worthy, right? Xavier Worthy. It's those guys that are going to have to step up. Obviously, Kelsey is still there. I think Isaiah Pacheco being healthy is so big for them. They really missed him last year. Kareem Hunt is cool, but he's not Isaiah Pacheco, right? So I think the Chiefs now have that balanced attack that they're looking for. Don't know if you're going to necessarily see what I see with this offense because they don't have all their stuff, right? Rashid Rice is such a big part of what they do, and him missing these first 6 games going to hurt them initially, but I think you're going to start to see glimpses of what this Chiefs offense can be this year in this game. Can they run the football, establish consistency there, take a little bit of pressure off of Mahomes? But we know Mahomes can carry the load if need be. If he has to throw it 34 times in this game, he's got no issues doing that, right? The question is, can they avoid the mistakes? You know, a lot of times in these games with the Chargers and Chiefs, it comes down to one mistake here, one mistake there, a missed opportunity here, a missed opportunity there. And that's what ultimately swings the pendulum in the favor of one or the other team. Usually it swings it in the favor of the Chiefs because they've been the team that has been most successful in this rivalry for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think the Chiefs have lost to the Chargers since 2021. So it's been a while, but they're always close games, right? For the most part. So defensively, that's been their calling card the last 2 seasons in particular. Mahomes hasn't been, stellar, but when it's winning time, Mahomes has stepped up. But this defense has been the catalyst. They're all back. They're all healthy. They've added a couple pieces. It's a defense that when they're locked in, when they're dialed in, they get the job done. Obviously, the last time we saw them, it wasn't their best performance. They struggled mightily against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it really stemmed from the offense's struggles that affected them. The offense was turning the ball over. The offense was going 3 and out. If you watch that game, if you go back and you watch that Super Bowl, that defense of the Chiefs, they gave them a chance for the first quarter and 3/4, right? It wasn't until I want to say Mahomes threw the pick right before a half that it kind of fell apart. I think the score was 10-0 at that time. The defense had given them every opportunity, and the offense just fell flat on its face. This defense, really good, anchored by Chris Jones up front. Love the secondary. Well, specifically love the corner out of Washington. He's so good. Trent McDuffie is so good. And so they've got a guy on each level with Jones on the defensive line. Karlaftis has come of age, and he's turned into a really good football player alongside Jones on that defensive line. I really am a big Nick Bolton fan. He's the anchor of the second level. And then obviously Trent McDuffie is a stud on the back end. So they've got all the things that they need to do what they've done against the Chiefs, or Chargers, keep the score low, give themselves a chance. And so that's kind of what I see happening in this game. I don't see it being under the 20s like it was twice last year for both teams. I do think this game gets played in the 20s, but not very high in the 20s. Similar to what we saw last night with Dallas and Philadelphia, even though that game was crazy with the offense early and then none late. I do think you're going to see these teams creep into the low 20s. So I'm thinking 23-20, 24-20, something along those lines. I don't think I see anybody getting to 27 or 30. I just don't see these defenses giving up that kind of points unless there are turnovers that assist and aid and abet someone in scoring additional points, or special teams gets in the mix. I just don't see these two defensive coordinators allowing the score to be run up in this game. It's always a chess game when the Chargers and Chiefs lock horns. So I'm expecting another one of those games. 23-20 Chiefs. Obviously, they just have their number. They find a way to make winning plays. I expect this to come down to a late field goal, maybe a late touchdown by Mahomes to win it late. But it always comes down to something late, and it's usually Mahomes delivering in the clutch in this rivalry. And so I've got the Chiefs winning a very close contest. This will be highly competitive. Again, the NFL knew what they were doing when they put these two teams opposite of one another over in Brazil on a Friday night on kickoff weekend. So this should be another fun, entertaining contest. And again, if you're the Chargers, here's an opportunity. The Cowboys had an opportunity last night to make a statement, to steal one on the road. If you're the Chargers, this is a home game for you, right? So you lost a home game here. You need to win this game if you are the Chargers. If you are serious about dethroning the Chiefs as the AFC West champions, if you are serious about having a home playoff game, both of Justin Herbert's playoff games have come on the road, and he'd love to forget the 20 point debacle that was the Jacksonville game, but that's on his resume. And last year's stinker of a performance with all the interceptions he threw is also on his playoff resume. You'd love to get a home playoff game if you're Justin Herbert. The only way that that's going to happen, more likely than not, in a crowded and very competitive AFC is to win the division. This is the first step in doing that, by beating the Chiefs. You have to at least split with them. You have no issues going into Arrowhead and being highly competitive, but why put yourself in a position where you have to go to Arrowhead and win when you can just take care of business in week 1? This is the best time to catch a team lacking in week 1. Here's your opportunity. Good luck. You're going to need it. As for me, let's see if we can win ourselves some money. Let's get to the skill game, brought to you by Sleeper. The skill game, brought to you by Sleeper. So, yesterday, the kid came up a little short. Really disappointed in how things went for me. I had 3 out of my 4 picks in the game last night come to fruition. And then because CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson couldn't catch, I didn't hit that 4th and final pick, which would have netted me $132 on a $20 bet. Yeah, that sucks. But I knew what I was talking about, and I had it. So let's see if I can get a bit of redemption today. So as we see, I love this Sleeper app. And again, let me introduce Sleeper. Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. I am a massive fan of this app. Like, this is my go-to now. Seriously. Like, I truly love the interface. I love how everything is so accessible. This is my go-to, right? Simple. All I have to do is open up the app. You see social media here. This is actually funny right here. Billy, this is A.J. Brown. He's an elite physical talent and one of the best receivers in the league. The downside is Jalen Hurts doesn't know he's on the Eagles. That's hilarious after what happened last night. 1 target the entire night. That 1 target didn't come until the last possession. It was a big catch nonetheless, but still. Anyway, I digress. All I got to do is hit picks, right? Or go home, excuse me. Go to the NFL. And I'm going to select this Chargers-Chiefs game here. All right. Now I want to get into some picks. So we're in picks, hit NFL, Chargers and Chiefs. Voila. And now let's see what we can conjure up. So what do I like tonight? I'm always big on anytime touchdowns. Let's start there. I feel like those are gimmies. Those are freebies. Anytime touchdown for Kelsey. That feels really good, actually. I'll hold that one. If I can't find something else that I really, truly love, I'll come back to Kelsey. He kills the Chargers, especially in the red zone. And we know Mahomes is always looking for him. So that one feels good. Pacheco feels good as well. I don't love any of the other backs. I don't love Najee because I don't know if he's going to be in the game down by the red zone. Same could be said for Amari and Hampton. You don't know who's going to be in the game, who's going to get the opportunity when they get down there. So I'm going to stay away from the Charger running backs down in the red zone. Pacheco's going to be the guy when they get down there, if they get down there and have to hand it off. Kelsey is a guy that you just know is going to catch a touchdown pass, you feel like, against the Chargers. I'm going to stay away from all the receivers in this game because these low-scoring games, it usually isn't going to be a receiver that gets you. Although Xavier Worthy had a long touchdown catch in the game last year in LA, which could happen again, right? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco. He runs so hard. I think they get down inside the 5-yard line. They hand it off to Pacheco. And he scores a touchdown. Boy, I think I should go with Kelsey. I am going to go with, my head says Pacheco. My heart's like, yo, go Travis Kelsey. I'm going to go with Pacheco, though. I'm going to go with Pacheco. I'm going to take the anytime touchdown with Isaiah Pacheco. We're going to go to pass yards. Let's go to pass yards. So I've got a deal here, as you can see, that all I have to do is take this offer that they're giving me, and Mahomes is going to pass for more than a half of yard. Now, when you click on it, as I'm going to click on it here, they take you to it, and then there's more opportunities to multiply it. And I think Mahomes is going to throw for over 200 yards. So 225 could be a little dicey against this defense. So I'm gonna go here, right? I could go with just over a yard and be safe, but that's not who I am. 200, I feel good about. That's what I'm going to go with. Mahomes over 200 yards passing. I'm going to stay away from Justin Herbert because, again, in the offense that they run, this could easily, and I said the same thing about Jalen Hurts, and look what happened. With Justin Herbert, same thing has happened. With the offense that they run, this could easily be a 182-yard performance. No touchdowns, no interceptions. I just want to stay away. You see, he's at 199. I just want to stay clear of Justin Herbert tonight. That doesn't make me feel really good and warm and fuzzy. Rush yards. Let's see if I can get away with something cheap and easy here. Najee Harris for 22.5 rush yards. I don't like Najee Harris, but that's very enticing. Mahomes at 17.5, taking more yards feels like the right thing to do. Oh, that's two Mahomes scrambles on third down, like we saw with Jalen Hurts last night, and voila, you've got it, right? I think Xavier Worthy 5.5. That's a jet sweep, but guess what? If they give him a jet sweep early in the game and he only gets 4 yards, he may not touch it on the ground again the rest of the game. That's a bit dicey for me. That's too risky. Pacheco getting 50 yards feels like almost a lock, but again, I want something easy. I'll come back to rush yards. I don't love anything there, although Mahomes at 17.5 feels good. Passing touchdown. Ooh, if they would have given me Mahomes at 0.5, I would have taken more. I could take less, but I don't want less, right? I don't want to pigeonhole myself into Mahomes can't have more than one passing touchdown in this game. I don't want to do that. I would much rather just be comfortable with, hey, if he has more than one touchdown pass, I'm good. Asking Mahomes to throw 2 of them in this game feels a bit dicey, especially given the history of these two teams and how they play one another. I'm not interested in the touchdown passes in this game. First touchdown of the game. All those combinations are blocked. I don't want any of that action anyway. Who would have had Javonte Williams with the first touchdown of the season, let alone the game yesterday? So I want to stay away from that. Receptions. Lad McConkey, 5.5. Travis Kelsey, 5.5. Okay, so is Will Dissly still number 1 on the depth chart for the the Chargers? Because if he is, the number one tight end, I know they drafted a tight end, did the Chargers, a pass catching one at that. But if Will Dissly is still their lead dog at the tight end position, he's going to catch more than 3 passes in this game, because we all know in a Greg Roman system, the tight end eats always. Boy, I like Will Dissly for three catches tonight. Kelsey could easily have one of those games where he's, non-existent for the first 3 quarters, and then he has 4 catches in the fourth quarter, but he had 4 catches in the game because he had none going into the fourth quarter. I don't want to risk that. I'm gonna take Will Dissly for more than 2.5. So I'm thinking he's gonna have at least 3 catches. And let's see if there's anybody here that I could see having less than. I'm going to leave that less than alone. Field goals made. I'm always big on field goals, because especially in games like this where you've got 2 teams that play extremely clutch defense. First of all, I trust Harrison Butker more than I trust Cameron Dicker, the kicker. I trust both of these kickers, actually. So I don't really have an issue with either one of them. The question is, you got to be careful. We're over in Brazil. The footing might be a little bit different. Maybe I need to stay away from the kicking game. What about kick points? 7.5 for both kickers. That's still a little dicey, because I said the score is going to be 20-24. If I truly believe the score is going to be 20-20 or 24-20, or they're going to be in the 20s, I mean, there's a way you can get to 20 without kicking any field goals, right? And 24 is 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal. You're still going to be less than the 7.5 kick points. I'm going to leave that one alone too. That one feels a little bit off. All right, rush attempts. I like this one. Omari and Hampton, 12.5 rush attempts. Isaiah Pacheco, 11. And I'm gonna take both of these, actually. Give me more rush attempts for Isaiah Pacheco, and give me more rush attempts for Omari and Hampton. I'm being greedy now. How many do I have? I feel like I got too much. 1. So they took away one of them. I wasn't able to do one of them, which was the pass yards. But Dissly catches, Isaiah Pacheco rush attempts, Omari. And so I can go for the max, get 3 right with a 6.48 multiplier, which would net me $129 on a $20 bet. Or I could go flex, where if I got 3 of them right, it'd be 2.88 multiplier for $57. Or if I just got 2 right, which would have benefited me last night because I got 3 out of 4, I still walk away with some kind of gain, right? I'm greedy. I want all 3. Give me Will Dissly for more than 3 catches, Isaiah Pacheco for more than 12 rushes, and Omari and Hampton for 13 or more rushes. I feel good about all 3 of those. I'm going to make a $20 bet. Hopefully, I'm going to be talking about on the post game netting $30 essentially. Let's see what we do. We got a promo here. See if I can throw that one in there. Remove unavailable picks. I got to remove this pick. See if they. So let me edit. Let me go. Let's see. Clear this one. There you go. Now I can submit it. All right. So I got the boost. You see, I hit the boost button, right? So now that takes me from 129 to 157 bucks that I can win. I feel good about this. I think your boy is about to be a winner chicken dinner tonight. This is the Sleeper app. And as I've said to you guys so many times before, download this app. Use the promo code LTN to get 100% match on up to $100 deposit. And as you can see, there's all kinds of multipliers. You can win up to 1,000 times your money here on the Sleeper app. You see what I'm over here doing. I just hit a bunch of multipliers, and they had a promotion that allowed me to use a profit boost that boosted the potential earnings that I could get by 25%. So you see what it is. What are you waiting on? Download the app, use the promo code LTN, get 100% match on up to $100. There's so many opportunities for you to cash in, and tell them your man Louie T sent you when you go laughing all the way to the bank. All right? I'm telling you right now, I'm going to hit this. Let's submit this entry. I'm feeling good about it tonight. All right. I'm in there. You see it. And as you can also see, free cancellation for up to 5 minutes after you submit your pick. So if you submit your pick and then you see, oh man, Will Dissely's not playing tonight. Well, you can go back in, cancel, no charge. You just got to do it within the first 5 minutes. So again, I'm feeling good. You see what I'm on the hook for tonight? A $20 bet that could net me 157 bucks. Y'all know I'm going to be watching this game very intently to see if my picks hit. So that is the skill game. And that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the skill game, brought to you by Sleeper. Once again, download the app. You see what it is. You see the opportunities. You see how much fun it is. And you see how you can make yourself some easy money. Why not? In any event, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the skill game. We'll be back to break this game down in all of its splendor and see if your man Louie T cashed in or not with his picks tonight on the Sleeper app. Until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, excuse me. I got a super chat. Let's handle that. Let's take care of that. Thomas Arrington, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Thomas TA, writes, what up, CCT? What's good with you? Man, I'm so amped for this season. Hashtag I believe. Don't we all? Can't wait to see Bill and Jay Lane and L Mac bust out their first touchdown celebration Sunday. Oh, you got all the youngins getting in the end zone and having a ball. We saw Bill's first touchdown celebration. I don't know if he'll have something planned for his first career NFL touchdown in a regular season contest, but we saw him scoring in the preseason. But you know, Lane and look, we still waiting on the first Luke McCaffrey, right? Touchdown. So I don't think Luke's gonna do anything, but you know, he'll probably forget that it's his first touchdown because he'll be in the moment. He'll probably, you know, spike the ball or toss it to the official. I don't see him doing anything special, just celebrating with teammates. And then somebody will have to remind him, bro, that's your first touchdown. Get the ball. You know, he strikes me as a plain Jane guy. He's not going to do anything, I don't think, Thomas. But I could be wrong. And he could have been dreaming about that moment. It finally comes, and he's got something planned. I doubt it. Jalen Lane doesn't strike me as a guy that's going to have anything planned either. He strikes me as someone that's going to be, you know, more team-oriented, excited, but, you know, not looking to dance or anything like that. But, look, I don't really give a damn what they do. I just want them in the end zone like you do, right? I can't wait to see this team on Sunday. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. You know, watching the game last night, it was crazy. My wife was sitting there on the couch, and then I just let out this scream and I went, let's go. And she looked at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, she's like, what is going on? I'm like, football's back, you know? And she was looking like, get a life, dude. I can't help it, man. I said this so many times. The NFL, they ejected this thing called the National Football League in my veins a very long time ago. I've been hooked like dope ever since. And they know what it is. They know I'll be over here fiending, you know, scratching and itching. You know, when we get to June and by the time July rolls around, I'm over here climbing the walls. And yeah, they know what it is. They got me. And I can't wait to see these guys on Sunday. It's going to be so much fun. Anyway, I digress. That, my friends, is going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. Looking forward to chopping it up with y'all. It's going to be a lot of fun. You said he does have a touchdown dance. He said he's practicing it in front of his girlfriend. Oh, really? Then that makes me even more intrigued for a Luke McCaffrey touchdown. I'm dying to see what that looks like. Because I don't think Luke has any rhythm. But if he's practicing, he could have something up his sleeve, right? Shout out to John, man. Your nephew. All right. Nice. Love to hear it. Hope it goes well, man. 4-star. Representing the city. All right. Or you're in Norfolk. You sound like you're from Suffolk. It's all good either way. But you know I'm a Norfolk boy. But anyway, I digress. Good luck to your nephew, man. Hope all goes well with that. And hope the city treats y'all well in any event. I digress. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back later on tonight. Y'all know what it is. Post-game show. Chiefs, Chargers, Bart Scott. Can't wait. Peace. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the stream. Oh, you meant Jalen Lane has been practicing in front of his girlfriend. Huh. That makes more sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, I could see that. Like, Luke practicing, I just don't see it. Jalen Lane practicing. I want to see what that looks like. Anybody that's practicing a celebration, I want to see what you were practicing. I want to see what you got up your sleeve. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Because we're more likely to see a Jalen Lane touchdown before we see a Luke McCaffrey touchdown. That's just the nature of it. But in any event, hopefully Jalen Lane takes one to the crib on punt return. That would be awesome. I digress. Now we can leave. Have a good one.